Hi guys, Christy, and you're watching Here We Are Running, and today we've got a shoe review for you. This is the New Balance FuelCell Prism V2. The New Balance FuelCell Prism V2, a mild stability shoe designed to feel light so that you can run faster. Now, I love the original version of this shoe. It was light, it was fast. I set most of my PBs in it, all the way from mile up to marathon distance. So I was excited when they released this shoe last summer as to what this shoe would have to offer. But that excitement, it soon turned to confusion. And I kind of just went, oh well. It's not saying it's a really bad shoe. It's just not what I was expecting. But after 160 kilometers or 100 miles done in this shoe, it has found a place in my rotation. Right, let's start by having a look at the features of the shoe, and then I'll tell you some more about my actual thoughts on it. Firstly, stability. How's it provided? Well, it's provided by a medial post, which is essentially on the medial side of the shoe, denser midsole foam in that area of the shoe to try and prevent your foot from rolling inwards. There's a bit of a heel counter on it as well, not as substantial that you'll see in some other stability shoes out there. And that's pretty much it for this shoe in terms of the stability. Now, that means it won't suit every overpronator out there. If you severely overpronate, then this shoe is probably not the shoe for you. It's definitely a milder type of stability shoe. And in stability shoes, you always pay a bit of a compromise over stability features and weight. The stability features tend to weigh a little bit more. Now on this shoe, it's not a heavyweight shoe by any means. It's certainly designed to be lightweight. In my UK size 11, it's 306 grams or 10¾ ounces. The thing about that is, it's substantially more, weighs more than what the original version of this shoe did. 306 grams, that is 36 grams more for the same size of shoe in the second version. I mean, what have they done? It's supposed to be a lightweight stability running shoe, and they've made it heavier. And that's not the only thing that's changed. The FuelCell midsole in this shoe, the midsole foam, it's supposed to be bouncy and give you lots of energy return. For me, this is not as bouncy as the original version. It's using the same FuelCell midsole foam, but obviously they've done something different to it in the V2. Also to mention, it's got a 6mm drop, which if you tend to heel strike like I do, actually having a smaller drop like 6mm actually does help you to heel strike less. That's certainly what I find anyway. It's got a completely new upper to this shoe on the V2. It's a mesh upper, which is predominantly very thin, particularly on the top bit there. Obviously I've got a white colorway. There are other colorways available now, but this one's white, so it has got a bit dirty. But yeah, it's a very breathable, lightweight, thin material, but I mean at 100 miles, it's sort of holding up well. It is holding up well, this upper. Quite a lot of rubber on the outsole. It's giving you some good grip when you're running in it, particularly in some slipperier conditions. Some exposed midsole foam, but yeah, still you've got quite a lot of rubber on there. I went true to size, and unlike some other New Balance shoes that I have purchased where I had to get a wide version, in the Prism V2, I just went with normal width. Now this shoe retails at £110 or $120. But after about half a year of this being released, when I'm making this video, I found it for about £77, which actually I would say is extremely good value for this shoe. So how did I find it? I mean, it is so different. It's such a different shoe, and it feels so different to run in this version of the shoe than the original version. It's fair to say that I much preferred the original version. Got to come out with that straight away. And this one is different. And when I first got it, my initial thoughts were, when I put the shoe on, the heel feels bouncy, like you expect from the FuelCell midsole foam, but the forefoot and midfoot areas are much firmer than the original version. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that much at all. And then when you started to run in it, you did feel that it continues to feel firm for a couple of miles and then softens a bit. Maybe it's your foot just getting used to it, but it did feel like it softened after a couple of miles on each of those runs when the shoe was newer. Now, I don't know if it's just me or not, but over the months and the weeks and months that I've had this shoe, it doesn't feel quite as firm in that forefoot area as it did when it was new. But it's certainly not as soft as the original version, and I would say probably not as bouncy either. So for me, it's not a shoe that I would wear over longer distances. Certainly I wouldn't go up to marathon distance in this shoe. Now, I have run a half marathon in this, and that I'm going to say was fine. I probably wouldn't want to go more than that, and I think this is more suited to kind of your 10k sort of distance, or maybe even less. But yeah, as I say, I did a half marathon in it, and it was fine. Now, the other thing that I think I felt from wearing this shoe is that you just don't get so much energy return than you did on the V1. And I wondered whether you got any benefit out of this shoe at all compared to some of my more cushioned shoes that I would wear for my longer runs or easy day runs. Because, you know, you'd be buying this shoe generally because you want to have a stability shoe that offers you a bit of speed for your speed work. Now, I did quite a lot of tests. They're not scientific, but I went out in these shoes and I did compare them to some of the other shoes. And I did feel, when I compared my heart rate running at the same paces in this shoe compared to some other shoes, the heart rate was lower in this shoe. So I do feel that it is giving you that energy return. It's just not feeling so nice in the way that the shoe's performing as the V1 did. So yes, I'm getting some benefit from it, and yes, I am continuing to use it. I feel that this shoe is best suited for someone that needs some mild stability, but they want to run a bit faster, so maybe for their speed workouts or their tempo runs. Now, I'm using this in my current marathon training for my weekly marathon pace run, and I will probably also use it when I get into some more of my speed work, which is coming up soon in my marathon training plan. That's the type of shoe and the way that I'm using this shoe. So I think that's all I really want to say about it, really. Yes, I'm using it. I'm continuing to use it. I haven't binned it. It's got a purpose. It's just not as good as the original version. And I hope that when they bring out the next version of this shoe, they evolve the original version and kind of, yeah, well, that's all I've got to say. Okay, guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you have, as always, do press the thumbs up button to give the video a like. And if you're new around here, then why not consider subscribing? But for now, guys, goodbye.